So I almost killed a teenager yesterday. An example of things that do not happen to me abroad. Proud of myself for maintaining my composure. Walking to my community gym after a long day's work, hoping to blow off some steam. Only 3 people in there. One was clearly a child, maybe 10 years old. The other 2 I couldn't see well. They were at a bench press and my vision was kind of blocked as I'm walking in. So as I'm walking in, I hear one of them yell loudly, N-word, hard R, and I mean loudly. Only in the US. So immediately I walk over to the bench press. For context, I don't do well with anger. I'm not an angry person. I'm actually extremely calm, quiet even. But I don't process anger well. It tends to boil over in a way where I don't think clearly, see clearly, and just react. Not being able to even speak in words that make complete sense because I'm overwhelmed with emotion and wanting to act physically. So as I'm now hovering over the bench press to what appears to be a 15, 16-year-old boy, I'm attempting to regulate myself to not act and to formulate words. So I ask, do you need help? And I go to grab the weights. To which he quickly put the weights down, said no, sir, started apologizing. At this point, I can grasp he didn't see me in the same way I didn't see him initially walking in, because I'm not sure it matters, but I'm trying to process, was this directed at me or something he was yelling randomly? Again, I'm not sure it matters. But at this time, as my temper is continuing to rise, I can almost feel my body getting warmer. I've assessed that this is something that this boy probably says freely in his TikTok, Xbox, PlayStation, with no real repercussions. So in my mind, this represents a time where I can dish out some repercussions. But will going to jail for assaulting a minor help the situation, or will it just hurt me and my family? Maybe I can follow him to his house, teach his daddy a lesson, or at least let his parents know what type of words he's using. But how does that go? Does that escalate? Is that better or worse for me and my family? What I ended up doing, as I'm inching closer and closer to this boy, was stare at him deeply, intimately, telling him to be extremely careful in the next moments. I think I repeated that 5 times. Each time I felt more angry and aggressive. I was finally able to compose myself as he continued to back up and apologize. I walked over to the bike, I sat down, and I rode for roughly an hour, replaying what had just happened in my mind. All 3 kids quickly left. I'm almost hoping he would come back with a parent. And now the next day, I'm still processing. This isn't the first time a white teenage boy has used that word in my presence. And my first thought is always, what are the parents talking about, thinking? Because no kid develops that habit without having heard it from a reference point. And what I realize is that unfortunately the adults are smart enough not to use that word in the presence of someone who could do something to them. But clearly it doesn't mean that they're not using the phrase, the word. They're not thinking whatever thoughts are associated with it. It gives me an extreme distrust of people. I don't think I have a point to this video, other than it being another reason why I can't wait to leave this place. Because even in the place where I go to relieve stress, I still find racial tension. Welcome to America.